Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Crime and Entertainment. I'm your host, Hollywood Wade here. Now, today we have a very special guest, folks, Charleston's own, the infamous, everybody's future ex-wife, Kit Monroe. Kit, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is quite an entertaining moment in my life. I can't even tell you.
Well, that's why it's.
I got my outfit ready.
I see.
Do you like my outfit?
I do. I dig the cut.
Yeah, I just figured since it's crime and entertainment that, if anybody in the family is out there looking for a wifey, that
Yeah, a wifey, a gumata. She is single, folks.
Mm-hmm.
And hit her up.
That's right.
Now, is that a state restriction on there? It's wherever. Just hit you up.
I mean, I have a passport, so.
Oh man. Okay, so no limitations on you whatsoever.
Absolutely not. None, except for hard limits.
Well, we usually do this at the end of the show, but we might just go ahead and skip to it now. In case you got any gentlemen callers out there, where can they find you at on your social medias?
Oh, well, let's go ahead and get to that. So, I have a link tree, which is Linktree Kit Monroe. But if you go to my Instagram, it is the Burnless Flame. Mm-hmm. And my Facebook is Kit Monroe. I also have Twitter. It's Kit Monroe. And most importantly, if you didn't hear anything I said, you can always reach me on my OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/Kit_Monroe. And that is where you will see more of the risque side of Kit.
The AC, the adult content there for sure.
Yes.
Now we're going to get into, where we're at now with all of these types of things and how COVID affected, everything to get you here. And a lot of people that it hurt some, but it also helped some when they had that creative side. And that's kind of what I want to get to. But let's just go first things first. Where did Kit Monroe grow up? What part of town are you from?
Kit Monroe is a nomadic one. I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, for anyone who does not know the slang there. But if you don't, then look it up. And then I moved to Phoenix, Arizona, and then to Memphis, to San Diego, to Nashville, to Charleston, and then to the moon.
That's a lot of bouncing there.
Yeah, I like to bounce.
Oh my word. Okay. Now, was that job related, family relocation? What's with all that travel back and forth there?
Parents divorce, relocating, and doing this little thing,
I got
you deal with her. No, you deal with her. No, you deal with
her. Problem child, were we?
Oh no, I was just a little bit too much for one cup is all.
Okay. All right. So you needed both cups at the table there. So
yes, I like to double fist them.
Oh my, okay, folks. So you get that Instagram handle, didn't you? All right.
Yes, the Burnless Flame, just the Burnless Flame.
Just the Burnless Flame. So you talked about your OnlyFans and everything. So obviously you're in the industry, the sex industry, if you will. What was your first introduction to this at all? And around what age were you at the time?
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I had like a pre-introduction and then my introduction.
We're gonna
so
go.
My pre-introduction, senior year of high school. I am on spring break. I'm living in San Diego. My girl's dancing at a club in Phoenix, and she's like, "Come dance with me." And our life plan was to have me move back to Phoenix, and we were gonna dance all summer. And then I got there. I did it for one weekend, and I didn't like it.
Really?
I didn't like it. And then a few winks and a shy later, I ended up becoming a webcam model. And this was much later in life, I would say, if we're looking at time like that. And I went on there in a nude mom bra, is what everyone was telling me that was in my chat room. I didn't realize that was what they were like. What are you wearing? I'm like, what do you mean? What am I wearing? I'm wearing my bra. Like, what? And they were like, it's like a full mom, like, you know, they were expecting me to like unhook it or something.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely was, you know, green, very green.
New to the game, as they say.
Yes. And I did that for about 3-4 years. And then one of my friends, my dear sweet friend, Ashley C. Baby, had a video shoot for one of her songs called Isabella at a local gentleman's club, because the song is about taking home someone from a gentleman's club. You guys need to listen to it. Ashley C. Baby, Isabella. And when I was sitting there waiting for us to, you know, start filming, I was kind of looking around and I just got comfortable. I have major social anxiety, which people are like, really? But when I was able to sit there and there was nobody in there and just kind of absorb it, I realized I wanted to go from not just talking to people on a screen to being able to interact with people in person, not just mostly for my mental health. Because when you get to the point where you're always talking to a screen, it's like, like I just need to have like some real human interaction. So, but I do love both sides of that, being able to talk to people all over the world and things like that. So I do like being able to do both.
Okay. So your first instance where you said you danced and you didn't like it, how big of a gap? You said about 3-year gap before you ever tried anything like that again, or was it shorter than that?
Like 10.
10 years? Holy shit, that's a big gap.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just you obviously got into it
I'm
again.
not trying to give away my age here, okay?
No, I'm not trying to get your age. I'm not, but that's a big gap. I mean, that's 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you can do a lot in 10 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, what did you have any aspirations or callings to do anything different in that 10 years? Like, what did you try out? Any professions or?
Yeah, I have had many, I've lived many lives.
Right.
I originally went to school to be a teacher.
Really?
And yes, and I went to school for early childhood education. And then I decided to go to hair school, graduated hair school at Paul Mitchell, Charleston. Thank you very much. And then I just decided I really didn't want to do hair on a full-time basis.
Right.
So because I'm such an entrepreneur, I like to be able to do things that give me freedom. And when obviously you can make your own schedule as a cosmetologist, but I have so much other things on my plate right now that, you know, people tell me all the time, you're doing too much, you do too much. And I'm like, I don't think there is a thing as too much, you know, like I'm in the middle of trying to write an album, but I'm doing that for my own personal self, just for therapeutic reasons. Will I put it out there? Maybe, probably, most likely. But it's not something I'm on a deadline. Otherwise, you know, I have the kit show, and I'm also trying to help, you know, we have the grilled cheese show, and we're trying to build the production studio that has just opened up for any photographers, videographers that need any type of media. And we also record music there and all that, but it's just so much on my plate, including dancing and also making sure I take care of my fans on OnlyFans, and my puppy. So it's just, you know, a lot of stuff, but I like it like that.
Juggling a lot for sure. When you got into the camming, did you find that just more comfortable because it was your own setting and you could do your own thing when you wanted to? Was that kind of an appeal to it? I know later you said you kind of wanted some interaction, but was that maybe the appeal at the beginning?
The appeal at the beginning was, and it's still, you know, I still love doing it once in a blue. It's just not something that I want to do every day, but I still do cam, and I do video chats with my fans all the time. But it just becomes where you literally have to learn how to talk to yourself.
Mhm.
And, you know, if you're talking to someone in person, there's an ebb and flow.
Mhm.
And if they're not giving you any energy back, you don't have to keep giving them energy. You move on. But on the internet, you have to continue to give the energy and not knowing if anyone is reciprocating.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes. So I don't feel like I answered your question though.
No, you did. Yeah, that's what we were getting.
Excellent.
So you said when you went to the shoot there for the video, you kind of felt at home and at ease there. So
Absolutely.
So that
and
and
that was another thing is I when I went there, I already had known several dancers that worked there. So when I went into work, it wasn't like, you know, a lot of times these clubs can be very intimidating when you come in as a new person. And if you know absolutely no one, then you have to prove yourself.
Right.
And even if you do know someone, you have to prove yourself, but you at least have support, you know, and at the end of the day, it just was kind of like a comfort blanket. So.
Okay. Now this was, where'd you say, San Diego here, or is this somewhere different at this time? Because
when I started dancing?
Yeah.
Charleston.
Oh, so you were here. Okay. So you had done all the bouncing.
Yeah.
You were here in Charleston. Now, yes. If we're going back, would that have been?
And that's when they put me in the paper. The pandemic started for that. Yeah.
I do remember that. So
yeah.
Was it the Slipper at the time when this was going on? Or
Silver Slipper. Yes. So, different owners.
Well, since I've lived in Charleston, that thing's been about 5 different things. I think it was Jaguars, then it
Diamonds.
was Stilettos, Diamonds, Slipper. It's been quite, not that I know all these names, but
everyone talks about the BYOB days and how great they were.
Okay, and, so I wasn't aware that they ever had BYOB days. I knew the one across the street did.
Well, I could be wrong, but I do know we used to have a shower room.
That could be the other. That could be the Bell. That's the Bell.
No, we had a shower room in the club there.
Okay. Wow.
Before my time.
Okay. Obviously, I've never been in that part of the room there. Yeah.
It's if you walk into the left.
Okay. What, to the back room?
Right by the bar to the left.
Oh, hell, I didn't even know there was a room there. Doesn't look like it. I guess that's probably the point.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right. So you're doing your thing there. How did you, as you started, you know, dancing more often, more frequently, was it something you enjoyed? I mean, it was just, you know, it was.
I love it. I've been dancing as a trained dancer in ballet, tap, jazz, hip hop, lyrical, you name it, in that type of field my entire life. Mm-hmm. I wanted to actually be on Broadway when I was little, and then I kissed too many boys at a New Year's party and I got mono, and then I had to homeschool for a year because I kept relapsing, because every time I felt better I would go really hard and then get sick again. Mm-hmm. You know, life choices, guys. So
mono was a kissing disease.
Yes, and I loved to do that. So I don't know who I got it from, where I got it, who I gave it to, but Happy New Year's, everyone. And yeah, so I was on competition dance, stopped doing that. And, but I've always danced and I'm super flexible. So it was something very easy for me just to kind of pick up.
So in a sense, those things obviously help you, because I've never took a pole dance class myself, but I know people who have, and that is not an easy thing to accomplish, folks. I mean, I know y'all want to sit there and say, well, you know, just going around it's not easy to do that. It takes a tremendous amount of strength, and I'm guessing maybe inner core strength to go there and balance and things like that. Did you pick that up pretty easy? Because granted, you know, those classes that you took doesn't maybe translate to the pole. How did you get used to the pole?
At work, I never actually have taken any pole classes. I have wonderful friends that have incredible studios like Scarlet Ray's, that we filmed the kit show at. She's always said, look, if you want to come in and learn more, whatever. But for me, I'm an entertainer. So I understand the pole, and I can definitely work the pole, but I understand also how to gauge my audience.
Right.
And a lot of times they rather you be closer to them than on the pole.
Right.
So yeah, I can flip upside down and twirly whirly, but they rather me be right near them if I can. So I do it all.
So you work, like you said, you work the audience that you can see. You can probably gauge.
We gotta like.
Yes. Give them a little shimmy there.
Yeah.
You can probably gauge pretty quick, because I've been in a lot of these in my lifetime, and you have the guys that are there to spend money and are there to have a good time. You got the guys.
It's the guy drinking water.
Yes.
The guy drinking water.
But yeah, you hear that, fellas. And then you have your
guy, or the guy in sweatpants.
Oh no, I don't think I've ever wore sweatpants to the strip club.
Well, it's a thing.
So you can spot them probably who's going to be more apt to spend some money, have a good time, or those that are just there maybe because they're heartbroken or whatever the case may be. You can probably spot that before you even walk up. Yeah.
I'm an empath. So I a lot of times can feel people's energy the second they walk in the room. Yeah.
Now, I know people might not equate these to being the same thing, but in a lot of ways, I think it is. You know, your stripper, entertainer, however you want to word it, often probably becomes a counselor too a lot of the night, right?
Well, that's why I'm going to school to become a psychologist, because I absolutely love studying human behavior. So this is basically field work for me. Perfect. So when people come in and they are hurting, or when, you know, I absolutely, for some reason, the local dancer to some is a comfort zone, and they feel safe there. And it's like, okay, I just want to tuck away for a second and just, and so sometimes they want to be, you know, just to have someone to have a good time with, but other times they want to process some things.
Right.
So, yes, I definitely love that part of my job. I always try to make sure people feel filled when they leave, not, you know, physically. That's right. What, you know.
Yeah. I mean, got whatever they were looking for in that night out, whether it is really to get. I mean, I've been in establishments like that before. You know, if you're in a fight or in a breakup or whatever, you're not really there, I guess, to have a good time. You're there just to get your mind off of it. And if that happens, however way, whether it be through conversation or what have you, it's all for the better.
Yes, absolutely.
And they will remember that conversation whenever they want to come back in there and have a good time. They will remember that conversation they had with you.
Absolutely. Yes. I definitely feel that I was put on this earth to help people and to be a light and I'm able to thankfully be able to go into places that are not necessarily an ordinary place and be a light in kind of a dark place. So
That's good. And you
yeah.
kind of you segued into kind of what I was going to here. Like you said, not I guess would be the not an ordinary place is a decent way to put it with this comparison. When
Yeah.
you danced for a while, I'm assuming business was good. You obviously knew how to read a crowd. But then COVID come around. Okay. And that hurt a lot of strip clubs, a lot of gentlemen
Yes.
clubs, a lot. So
It
put a lot of you
hurt
guys out of
all
work.
of my business for sure.
Right. Well, I mean, people don't have the money to come in. Obviously, the clubs just closed the doors, right? Was that kind of how that happened?
Yes. So the day after the clubs closed, my boss at the time ended up testing positive for COVID.
Wow.
I, the day before, got in trouble with my boss because I was on Facebook Live spraying Lysol into my mouth. And he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, it says it kills 99.9% of bacteria. What do you mean?" And he showed me the part where it says you're not supposed to swallow it, but he got COVID and I didn't. So I'm just saying, like,
So
no
you
one
actually sprayed it into your mouth?
I have it on my Facebook Live. Yeah, you can
What
go
the
see it
fuck did
today.
that taste like?
I mean, it was like, it was really far away. I took it like a champ.
Yeah,
I took it like a champ, of course. So, but even my event planning business with Burnless Flame Productions, like, I haven't really been able to plan any events since the quarantine shut down, except for I did my one BDSM festival, which was on 77 acres of land. Thank goodness not a single person got sick. We were super spread out and it was great. But since then, I've just kind of been waiting. So until now.
Yeah, things are slowly getting back to normal. And like I said, I don't want to gloss over that because people think, oh, well, this store went out of business or this restaurant went out of business.
No, it's sad.
Whether you patronize those establishments or not, it's still a business. It's still the way a lot of people made money, a lot of ways.
That's a family. Those are people's livelihoods.
You guys are a team. You that's how you put food on the table and clothes on the back. And when those kind of things close, that causes problems for people. It causes panic, nervousness. I mean, how's the money going to come in? And this is where you get challenged because it kind of forced you guys to, break out the creativity because along this time, and I'm kind of curious, and you may be able to school me here, when OnlyFans came out, was that right after the COVID? Was that for COVID? Was that like a buddy to COVID to help it out? Because it seemed like it was brought up and created at the perfect fucking time for all of you guys and gals that was creative in this kind of thing. And you needed an outlet and a way to express it. And along came OnlyFans.
So I'm going to answer that in a longer, shorter version, but when I was webcamming, I started my Instagram and social medias and everything back then.
Right.
And I was selling out of my DMs the same type of content I am now. So I had those followers. And then it was not actually right at quarantine when this happened. It was a few years before quarantine, I believe, that OnlyFans was created. And I actually went back and forth about creating one because my art, I've been modeling for almost 10 years now, and I don't do it for anything except for to express myself.
Right.
And so I never wanted to put like a number on, my art and sell it. But then it got to a point where it's like, okay, you're in the house, you have no other way of making income right now. Everything is shut down and people are saying they will support you. like, you're going to be stupid if you don't do this.
Right.
So it thankfully, at the same time, that was like right at the same time my article came out in the paper, Charleston City paper. So it was really able to help my fans just kind of boost up immediately.
Right. And you already had that base from, like you said, you were selling out of the DM. So you already had, you know, a customer base, so to speak, built up.
Yes, but I didn't start mine until like a week into quarantine.
Okay. Now, how do you think that's a good thing for people like the OnlyFans, or do you know, I don't, obviously I don't have an OnlyFans myself, but I'm assuming that they, you know, they're making money. They're taking a cut of each subscriber. Do you feel that cut is fair, or is it, you know, a little bit on the high end? What do you think? And I know nothing logistically about this, so.
Well, I mean, that's a loaded question.
Right.
But, you know, basically at this point, OnlyFans is, you know, 10 years ago, people didn't even know what a webcam model was.
Right.
At all. Like, obviously some people did, but now you have even rappers, you know, singing about OnlyFans, and you're rapping about OnlyFans. You have people, you know, wearing t-shirts that say OnlyFans. It's become way more acceptable. OnlyFans in the past couple of years, because of its popularity, has definitely become one of the biggest platforms for online sex workers, and it has become normalized by people, knowing friends and coworkers and things, that they know that this is how they can support them. Mm-hmm. And it's also something that's used by different types of content creators, not just, you know, not all my content is just purely that. Mm-hmm. But it is the safest platform at the moment to put out your things without having to go live on cam.
Right.
So, but you can go live there. It's just not like a sitting duck waiting for people.
Right. No, I mean, I know there is a lot of different types of content. I know there's like people that sell like, you know, ways to play like video games and shit like that on there, that, you know, it's basically a lot of times what people were doing over YouTube, and it was taking them so long to get to that monetized state to get paid for people watching it. They just transferred it to OnlyFans, and everybody pays, you know, a fee or whatever. I guess so. That would be the next part of the question. Do you think the fees or whatever they are is fair?
Well, they've created a platform for me that I do not have to pay for.
Right.
They, you know, do take a percentage, but it's in the grand scheme.
Not that,
you know, it's like having an IT person, you know,
right.
It's, eventually here soon, I'm going to be creating my own website where people can come there and kind of do everything through my website. But OnlyFans has been extremely helpful. I mean, you know, it's however much work you put into it, you will get return on it.
Oh yeah. Celebrities are even jumping on this bandwagon now.
I know. I love it.
It's not, you know, like you said, confined to one area. I think,
no.
You know, Bad Baddie. I think that's
Bad who?
The Catch Me Outside girl. That would be better.
Yes.
Okay, her Instagram handle is like Bad Baddie or something like that. She created a OnlyFans, and I want to say like in the first fucking 24 hours made well over like $1 million from the subscribers. I mean, that was like 1 month.
Good for her.
Yeah. I mean, people can say what they want about her and her antics and whatever, but she knows how to put asses in seats or fingers on mouses to click, so to speak, because she's got it upstairs. And I'll be honest with you, her music isn't half fucking bad. I hear a lot worse played on radio right now. Her music is not
yeah
terrible.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I actually, people get upset when they're like, oh, Cardi B's got one and so-and-so's got one. And I'm like, you know, they're bringing traffic to the site. I don't,
Right.
it's bringing attention to the site, and it's again normalizing this.
Right.
So it's become emerging more into being accepted in pop culture, even as a thing. So go ahead. Like,
Right.
you don't have to be a sex worker to have an OnlyFans. Like, you can
Right.
do whatever you want.
Because 10, like you said, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, no one would go on there and publicly advertise, hey, I'm on the site, adult content, come subscribe and see it, and, see all the, now it's almost, you're looked at with a side eye if you don't have one and you're in this industry. It's
People do
almost
always ask me, you have an OnlyFans, right? And
right.
yeah, and for the longest time, people knew on my Instagram that I was an erotic and fetish model, and that I am work for Federotica magazine, and that was basically what I used that page for, was just my modeling content. But then that's when people would start asking me to make videos. I mean, it's something that I have always been pretty open about with my social media followers, that I do model with Federotica magazine and beyond, doing fetish and erotic modeling. And that's kind of how people got drawn to me to ask me to do content. So I was used to doing that from webcamming, from this, and then basically that just merged into my OnlyFans. And some people I definitely had a few people that just would say to me, like, I don't understand how your page just shot up and did so well so quickly. And I try to explain to them, I'm like, these people have been like my ride or die fans for years. Like I know, they're the ins and outs of their lives, like, how you doing, how's your dog, like. So I'm just really thankful. Speaking of dog, my dog's barking at the closet. So yeah.
Well, that's that just proves that it's not just about the money. Like, I can tell in this interview, and I'm sure other people can, you enjoy what you're doing. You enjoy the expression.
I love people and helping people, period, in any way. And that's why I've been a wedding planner. That's why everything I do is, being a music manager, everything is.
What is a Kit
how can
Monroe
I help?
wedding like?
Well, it was not a Kit Monroe wedding.
Okay.
I actually went under a different name, but
okay.
Kit Monroe weddings definitely are not. I mean, here's the thing: when you're working with brides, you are making their visions come to life,
right.
Which I love helping people. When you have the same vision, though, keep reoccurring, because everybody from out of town wants burlap and mason jars and shrimp and grits, and you're just like like, I just should put it in my closet and just keep pulling it out and put it back, like. So it just became really boring for my brain.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still do love wedding planning, and I will do it for certain friends and things, and maybe do a few a year, but I do not want to go back to doing like 25, 30 a year.
Right. Now, event planning. You spoke earlier about that event you put on last year. What was the name of that event?
That was the second freak show, the Naughty List. That was in December. The very first freak show was in October. At Purple Buffalo the year before, and it was the craziest sight I'd ever seen, as far as the community of Charleston coming out of the woodwork. It was amazing. And there were 350 people that busted through that door within the first hour. We had a line down the block. It was beautiful. And everyone was so accepting. Sorry, my dog's like, I was like trying to figure out what my dog was doing. But everyone just was really accepting. It was a completely diverse crowd, and everyone just came as they were, and everyone just was, it was just love. It was beautiful.
So was it a millennial version of Woodstock, so to speak?
No.
Well, without the music, rather.
No. So basically I would consider it more like a multimedia show. Okay. So I will bring in local bands, local aerialists, rope artists, wax performers, and have them pole dancers, and basically incorporate all of them into this one big choreographed performance of a show.
Okay. So it's a show. It's more of a show.
It is a show. Yeah. And then there's lots of vendors that have, whips and paddles, and there's even, Littlest Kit's toy shop, and what is there? She is from Charlotte, and they have these like little Build-A-Bear things, but they have like ball gags and harnesses and whips and crops. It's the cutest thing ever.
So it's a S&M Build-A-Bear or Build-A-Person.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
There's a market for that, I'm sure.
There's a market, and they were at the freak show. And they did well.
Now, I bet they did. I really. Mm-hmm. So you created and ran the Freak Show Part 2. Now, this was kind of in the heat of COVID. How easy was that for you to get done, or how hard, rather, I guess I should say, to get done?
I am a huge believer in manifesting and being the master of your universe. So I was laying in bed, basically feeling the worst I had in my entire life. I had double pneumonia after having COVID. And it was early fall, and I could only keep my eyes open for like 5 minutes at a time. But every time I opened my eyes, I was just like, oh my gosh, we're almost to the end of the year. And like, I haven't done anything because we all have been on lockdown. And so I just felt, everyone had been asking me, please do another one. Please do another one. It's the, most comfortable we've ever felt at an event. So I just finally was like, you know what, we're doing this. And so I picked the date 12/12. Do it from noon to noon, because 12/12 are angel numbers. And I literally said to myself and the universe, this is going to be the most beautiful day in December. And it was like 73 degrees. And will I do it in December again? Maybe not. But it was what everyone needed at that moment. And it was beautiful.
So Freak Show Part 3, yay or nay?
Yes. Oh, for sure. We're definitely doing Freak Show. Eventually, I think will be something that I will do internationally.
Right. Well, I hope we get VIP tickets here.
Absolutely. And I've really loved, since I've started doing the freak shows in Charleston, how much the rest of the Charleston music community and beyond have started allowing, burlesque dancers, pole dancers, and things like that to incorporate into their performances and allow a little sensuality, and not, normalizing sensuality in Charleston without it being, it's really beautiful to see. No. So this is Poppy. I don't know if I said that. She just wanted to come and say hi. She's got her Christmas bow on. I
see that.
She's ready. So.
No, I agree with you 100%. I'm a big proponent for it to go ahead and start getting normalized and socially accepted and not looked down upon and things like that, because, you guys have an artistic mind already, and we've kind of dove into the things that you've done. I mean, you've covered a lot of bases here. You were in cam modeling, regular gentlemen's clubs. And you said you modeled for, BDSM magazines. Then you've done the OnlyFans, then you put on this event, and then you put it on again during the challenging times of COVID. I mean, that's not. I mean, I hate to keep saying it in a way like it's degrading, because it's not. It's a job, but that's not your average stripper's work ethic over the period of 10 or so years. That's a little bit more than that. So you're expressing more of your creative freedom, in my opinion, and I'm sure you feel the same way.
Well, thank you. I love dancing, and it's one of my many hats that I wear. But the reason I love it is because it's allows me, I love to dance, period.
Right.
Like I'll dance in my living room. So if I'm going to get paid to do it, why not?
Why not?
But, at the same time, I have so much I want to do in this world, and I will not stop until I'm done.
That is a great attitude
Yeah.
to have.
Thank you.
So I know you said you've done a little bit. You've got the kit show going on. You alluded earlier, you got your hands in many things right now. What is one of the biggest things we can expect from Kit Monroe in 2022?
Gosh, that's a loaded question. I've had such a good 2021. I'm still trying to ride this wave, and but I'm definitely going to be expanding my businesses as far as hopefully getting into more event production. I'm definitely starting in the beginning of January, going to be helping some other friends of mine in the local Charleston BDSM community to create some private events that are legal, for anyone's wondering. Hold on, put my puppy down real quick. So yes, we are going to be doing that in an undisclosed location, and we're going to try to start doing them twice a month, and I'm really excited.
Undisclosed location. So how would people, if they were interested in attending such an event, how would they go about getting that information? Or we haven't set
They should message me.
Message you. Okay.
They should message me, and otherwise if they didn't hear it from this, they would have seen it somewhere else, and they'll know how to take care of it from there. But if you're seeing it on here, just message me. Kit Monroe on Facebook, you can message me there. You can also message me on Instagram or my OnlyFans. Any of those are perfect.
So a lot of things to look forward to in 2022 for sure coming up for Kit Monroe. So I guess we're going to get a little personal here for a minute. When your life is involved as much as yours is in this industry, doing these things, creating this content, does that make it any difficult for you to have like a personal, private relationship? I mean, I know that's got to be strained for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely makes life, sacrifices, and you have to realize that you may walk into a party, you might walk into the grocery store, and someone say, "You look familiar," and you're like, "Where from? I don't know." And it's just is what it is. But a lot of people look at you as a fantasy instead of a human.
Right.
And obviously that's my job, but that's not my life. So I'm very, very careful who I share my energy with, Poppy. So yeah.
Have you ever had anybody that you were involved with like try to push you to get out or want to quit or?
Yeah, for sure. A few of them.
Well, now that we're doing this podcast, obviously they weren't successful, at least for a long period of time.
No, and they'll watch it, so they know.
Now, we mentioned off camera before we got started. You were mentioning something along the lines of a sugar daddy conversation that you said we should bring up.
Well, I just want to really, if no one hears anything from me, we're about to be coming up on the holidays, and it's super important. As much as everybody thinks, you know, oh, I'm 5 minutes from home, I can make it, I just had a few drinks. Let me backtrack. So a man walks into the club the day before Valentine's Day. He's wearing sunglasses, backwards hat, doesn't want to be bothered. The next day, he goes and buys me a car in 5 minutes because we had to go to brunch, supposedly.
So you did speak to him that night he was in there, I'm guessing?
Yeah, he went to VIP with my friend and I.
Oh, okay.
But
I was about to say, guys, must be a hell of a first impression to buy you a car and didn't want to be bothered.
Yeah, and there was no sex in the champagne room. He just was kind enough to buy me a car. He was in a situation where his father was a SEC college football coach, and his father died, and he received quite a lot of money, and so it was a drop in the bucket, and he really wanted to help me. When I met him, he had only been out of prison for 2 months. He had been there for 10 years. He went in.
Oh, spot on.
He was at a party and got into an argument with his girlfriend, ended up getting in his Range Rover, running over one of his friends at an after party, and he was drunk. And when he got out, the next day was Valentine's Day, as I told you.
Right.
My best friend says to him, you are going to deal with this again in a different way. It might be your mom, it might be your brother, I don't know. And I was like, dude, shut up. Why would you say that? You know, like, we're on a date here. And he was like, just had to say it. And he, you know, of course it upset him. And he has recently passed away as the passenger of a DUI accident. And it's just unfathomable.
All right. So I'm assuming by that story that the person that he run over didn't make it.
No, it was a homicidal DUI.
Homicidal DUI.
Is that what you say?
Yeah, I think it would be vehicular manslaughter, homicide, something along.
Yeah, it was 10 years.
Right. There's a pro football player that's in the news right now for something similar. He was traveling, I think, in a Corvette and was rolling like, I want to say they said he clocked him like 150, and he smashed into a couple of vehicles, and one caught fire that had a mom and I think a kid. Do not quote me on this or bash me on the comments. I know a woman was in there. I want to say a kid too, because she had picked her up from work. I want to say it was the kid's aunt, but yeah, they all burnt in the car. So he's looking at some serious time later on down the road. So while we're here, less stress, folks. Today in our time, you know, a lot of things are up in the air. A lot of things is changing, but one of the things that's changed good is I don't want to say invention, but the availability for Uber and Lyft. Do not fucking drink and drive. If you got enough money to be buying booze and buying that top shelf liquor, going out and partying, go ahead and set aside $40, $50 and get the Uber or the Lyft.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Back in the day, people did what they did. It is what it is. Nowadays, you do not have that choice. I've got a daughter. She's 22 now, but when she, turned 21, obviously I knew what was coming around the corner. I knew they were going to start going out to clubs and things like that. And I just gave her like my app, my password, everything linked to my bank account. I'm like, I don't give a shit what it costs, what it rings up at. If you guys need a ride, you charge that, you get your ride.
Yeah.
You come home.
It's not, it doesn't matter. Your life is worth way more than that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And everybody else's lives. I mean, because like you said, it can ruin you. It can, take away years from your life. One bad.
Yeah.
One wrong.
And he always was so insistent on driving that into me. Do not drink and drive. Do not drink and drive. Do not drink and drive. And every time I get in that car, I will never, ever not think about that.
All right. Well, when it hits so close to home, sometimes like that with a personal friend or a close personal friend of yours, it can resonate a little bit deeper as opposed to just hearing a story about somebody you don't know. When it hits close to home, it seems to drive home a little bit more. Yeah. So that's our PSA for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Do not drink and drive, for sure.
Yes,
that's from
please don't.
Hollywood and Kit Monroe's PSA for you there.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to wrap this up. I mean, everybody knows where they can find you at. We'll go ahead and go over that one.
Can I just say a few things?
You can say a couple of things. We're not done.
Okay. I thought you were just leaving me. Sorry, me and my rejection issues. My bad. So again, if someone's looking for a wifey, like I'm ready. I do have some beauty expenses that have to be taken care of monthly, but besides that, I pretty much am self-sufficient. And Grilled Cheese Studios. I want to make sure everyone knows the Grilled Cheese Show's Instagram is the Grilled Cheese Show, and their YouTube is the Grilled Cheese Show. And they are the people who helped me create the Kit Show. They are my producers. We produce the show together. They do all the filming and editing, and they are now open to the public, and we are starting to do music videos. We have a huge green screen. Your possibilities are endless. We have an event space, you name it. So if anybody is interested in that, let me know. Also, with the Kit Show, if there anybody local that is a creative that wants to, or a local business owner that wants to promote their business, message me, call me. I'm always looking for people, because people are like, you have your own show. I'm like, it's called the Kit Show, but it's about you guys. Like, I'm trying to promote the community.
Right. That's good. I mean, giving back, that's what it's all about. And that's what people with creative minds do. They need to help each other and, bring each other up, get each other exposure. It doesn't take long to build up a following. And then all it takes is the right video, the right idea. And with today's time and social media, it can blow up quick, and, it can be off to the races. And that's another thing that's probably helped, I think, some people in your industry is the availability for social media, because before you couldn't pull up somebody's profile and, see them in such and such outfits. I mean, I know it's not quite the OnlyFans level, but, a lot of people that are like, there's people that are literally Instagram models. That's their job.
Yeah. And back in the day, all we had to do was put a little hearts, and we could post nudes, on Instagram. So Instagram used to be a lot more like OnlyFans in that sense. And then,
you can't now do that anymore.
Like, don't even show your bra strap.
So you can't do that anymore on the gram.
I mean, people definitely get away with murder on there.
Right.
No pun intended. But yeah, it's I try to be very careful because I have so much linked to those accounts that, I don't want to post a picture that's a little risque and then I lose all my other stuff under it. So, but if my account gets deleted, whatever, I'll just start a new one. I don't care. It's happened before. That's just part of the game.
Now, Twitter used to be kind of like that too, where I seen a lot more risque stuff or pushing the limit stuff on Twitter now than probably anything else. Facebook's quick to ban you.
Twitter's like anything. What was that app that you could get on and Vines? Twitter's like the Vines of porn.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty wild. Now, what about what's the new one that's the TikTok? Do you have a TikTok?
My producers at the Grilled Cheese Show were very insistent. Cam Johnson was like, you have to have a TikTok. And I have one. Do I do it? No. Not really. I have been going back and forth. I'm like, do I need a manager or an assistant? Or an assistant manager, assistant to the regional manager? I don't know. I wish Dwight Schrute was around, but I don't know.
Well, that could be an ad out there for anybody listening.
Yeah. If anyone wants to be my assistant, let me know.
That's right. Get in the DMs, folks. Now, I want to tell you a quick story. Before we wrap this up. Okay. I used to sell some sports memorabilia to a guy. I'm not going to say his name, but he ran a bar in Mount Pleasant. And he told me, he was like, hey, there's a thing I go to every year in Columbia, South Carolina. He said, I think you could probably, sell a lot of your stuff there. He's like, if you're comfortable. And I was like, like comfortable talking to people? Because like I can talk to anybody. It doesn't really matter, And he's like, well, more comfortable with the situation. He said, it's a nudist event.
Okay.
I'm like, all right. So my interest was piqued. And I'm like, all right. So it's, like a show or a weekend or what, I didn't know if it was a one-time deal, what it was. And it's in Pillion, South Carolina. You know where that is? It's like right outside of like Columbia. It's like an hour from the Gamecock Stadium. This place is like, you have to obviously know where the fuck you're going because it's down like this long straight road, nothing but woods. And then there's a dirt road that leads to a gate. And then you're let in by somebody that obviously knows you're coming. But now back in there, it's like an entire different community. Like there's people that have campers set up that never leave. Like they stay there. And whenever they come back in town for this event, that's where they stay. And it is a whole weekend thing. They have like bands and shit set up. They have vendors, they have food, they got pools, they party. And it's called Nude Stock.
I didn't see this.
Yeah. That was my thoughts. Exactly. It's called Nude.
You and I should go. We can make it an adventure.
Well, it was called Nude Stock, and I went. I did go. I went as a.
That is such a cute name.
It is. It fit. But I had never heard about it. It's one of the biggest nudist events in the world.
See, I'm not considered a nudist, right. I guess, because I guess I am. Like, I don't usually wear clothes unless I'm wearing lots of clothes.
Right.
Or a G-string. But I've never been to a nude beach. My friend Elle DeSol, she's a OnlyFans star. I would definitely call her. And I'm going to be going to see her in a couple months to make some content with her in Florida. But she goes to a nudist beach there all the time and she loves it. So I hopefully will be going with her. But if there's one closer, let me know.
I have to see if it's still going on. This was probably like 8-9 years ago when I done this. And I went as a vendor because I was like, well, I'm curious, but like, you know, do you got to be naked if I'm there's a vendor? And he's like, no, you don't have to be. Like, it's all people's
naked
choice.
vendors only.
Yeah. And I went and like everybody was naked. And it was like, it was really hard to concentrate and try to even attempt to sell anything because it was sports memorabilia. So of course, a lot of what was coming up to you guys, there's not too many girls coming up to you wanting to sell sports memorabilia. So I'm trying
they want to see what your deck of cards look like.
Right. And I'm just like, okay, this is a little bit not exactly what I was envisioning, at least coming as a salesman. You know, maybe if I was a patron, I'd probably had a different experience. So needless to say, I didn't stay very long, and I went and I think I watched the Gamecocks get beat by Missouri that night on a college game day. But it was definitely an experience that I would like to go back to as a patron, not as a salesman. Because I think
we should go. We can do a full an analyst.
I think that's analyst. That's analyst.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was anal. My bad.
Oh, okay.
Oops. I slipped that one in again.
You did. You slipped it in the back door.
Yeah.
You want to let?
At least you're not the butt of the joke.
Good.
All right, done. I'm done. I promise. I'm done.
Is there anything you want to let the listeners know? Anything, you know, that's on your mind? Anything that people, you know, I know sometimes people get judged for being in this line of work. What do you say to the haters?
Haters just help your algorithm. People do not, you know, I have definitely experienced some obstacles that I've had to just, you know, hop over. But sometimes the hop feels more like a climb, but it's all in your attitude. And I am all about just remaining kind to people and try to kill people with kindness. That's my murder method.
There you go.
Yeah.
Last question. Kit Monroe, I'm gonna put a $5 bill down that's not your governor name. How did you get that name? How did we arrive there?
Well, my body, I will stand up because I have to make a point. So Kit Monroe actually is inspired by the women of the 1950s in America. Kit was a very popular name during that time. And I also feel like I have like a 1950s body style as far as more voluptuous. You can see like I have this like hippie thing going on. And Marilyn Monroe was one of the first women to make me, after studying her, realize, you know, I grew up in the 90s where everybody was skinny, stick thin.
Right.
And so to be able to learn about someone like Marilyn Monroe, who was the greatest sex icon in American history to the date, you know, she was a size 14.
Right. A lot of people do not realize that.
She was a size 14 and she was absolutely stunning. And so I get comments a lot. People say to me, you know, like, you are a real woman, which I'm like, okay, women come in all shapes and sizes, but I appreciate, you know, that people see that. So my dog is totally going to the bathroom over there.
So, I mean, you hit on that dead on the money. Marilyn Monroe was one of, if not the biggest sex icon ever. And she done it. She was the pioneer, the OG, if you will, of doing that type of thing. You done a paper on her. What did you conclude from the death? Do you think it was overdose, accidental, or murder, or what?
Oh, Marilyn. I I don't know. And I can't even, because I can literally go thinking about it. So I don't know.
We done an interview with a guy that was connected to the Chicago outfit. And he gives us some info of how he thinks that it was done. It's pretty interesting. And it makes sense that it could be done that way too. And he also verified that, well, obviously her affair with John F. Kennedy was well publicized, but she also had one with Robert. Robert was sent to break the affair off with John, to let her know she was not leaving her as wife to see her. And then Robert wound up having an affair with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it went pretty deep, but there's all been all sorts of conspiracy theories and all, involving that. But not the name suits you. It definitely does. And like you said earlier, sex symbol for sure, is one of the most beautiful women ever, like in the world. And it's a shame that
in the world
went out the way she did, whatever the reason was, whether it was natural causes, whether it was from shady dealings. She probably had a lot left to give and a lot left to teach the people coming up after her. So it's definitely a shame that.
And the one thing that thankfully she, in her legendary, life, has been able to set a path for us. Even though she's not here, she is teaching us every day.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you learned a little something here in this sit down. I hope you follow Kit Monroe on all her social media pages. Go ahead and subscribe to that Instagram, the OnlyFans. I'm not sure if we have a way to put a code in there or something. Don't even worry, but just tell them Hollywood sent you to the OnlyFans over there. Where's that OnlyFans one more time?
OnlyFans.com, Kit_Monroe.
Kit.
And if you go to my Instagram, which is the Burnless Flame, in the top, I have my link tree to all my links in there, which I will also have this podcast in there as well. So,
all right. Well, we will send you the link when we get this thing up. We are glad you could stop by the show. Charleston native or Charleston local here, doing her thing in the
thank you for having
scene.
me. It's been an honor, and I really appreciate it. And I didn't know if you wanted to go over at all any of the crimes that I don't want to commit, since I don't commit crimes. But if you want to do that for another,
your top 5 crimes that you do not want to commit. Let's hear them.
Okay. I do not want to open my neighbor's mail.
Yeah.
That is a federal offense.
It is fucking with the law.
And I don't want their water bill.
No.
Even my dog's upset about it.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Poppy. She's barking at the wall. Come here. Hold on. My bitch is barking. 1 second. Quit barking, you little bitch. Okay. We're back. Mm-hmm. So, also, I will not beat my wife on the course to house steps on Sundays, which is allowed in South Carolina. And I just refuse.
But you can do that if you wanted to. You wouldn't be breaking the law. Yeah.
You absolutely can.
But you just need to say you would not do it on any day other than Sunday.
Oh, you're right, because I'm not breaking a law. I'm breaking my own moral code.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. So maybe for me, laws and morals, they kind of just blur together. And so, I'm lawless. Let's just leave it at that.
Lawless. All right. Well, I've had a blast, Kit. I'm sure this is not going to be the last time we sit down.
Can I plug Poppy's Instagram?
You sure can. Poppy's got an Instagram.
Yeah, Poppy's Instagram is Life with Poppy Ann. It's POPPYANN.
Now, what is that?
Her birthday is January 26th. If anybody is wondering, she probably is going to make an Amazon list.
She is. A lot of milk bones.
And I just moved into a new home. If anyone wants to buy a toaster or blender or anything, or I got you. Yeah. Throw it my way.
Now, what kind of a dog is that?
She is half Dachshund and half Chihuahua. I got her as a rescue when she was 4 weeks old. I had no intention of getting her. And all of a sudden, her little sweet puppy eyes were on my Facebook feed, and her mom stopped feeding her and all of her brothers and sisters. So I had to go get her the same day and bottle feed her for a month. So I'm pretty sure she thinks I'm a Chihuahua Dachshund or that she's a human.
Huh? Well, they say dogs are pretty close to humans. I've got a husky myself.
Oh, I love huskies.
Yeah.
Oh,
They shed
that's
an awful
sweet.
lot, but other than that, they're the best dogs.
Oh, I love huskies. They're beautiful.
I go through
Well,
like a vacuum cleaner every
one
month.
of my best friends, she's a local artist. She has 3 huskies that are like her Poppy's older brothers and sisters, and so we're huge fans.
I can't imagine. I go through a vacuum cleaner literally like once every 2 months. I quit buying the expensive ones because they would break too. So I buy like the cheapest one they have, and it still burns up after like a month and a half because they suck
Wow.
so much damn pet hair. It's crazy.
I mean,
can't
if
imagine
only they could just vacuum themselves. I mean,
I have a
but-
video up of where I was running like the roller extension that you use to like go over furniture stuff. I was running that over him, and he loved it. He just laid there. I've done it for like 10 minutes.
I love it. I love it.
Well, Kit, I'm glad you could stop by the show today. We're going to let you get on.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Anytime. I'm sure you'll stop by again and we'll have another sit down. There's a possible side project that we may collaborate on together down the road, but I don't want to give away too much info on it. But if we do, you will definitely hear about it on Kit Show on Crime and Entertainment. And folks, I am Hollywood Wade. That was Kit Monroe. And unfortunately, we are out of time. See you here next week on Crime
Thanks for having me.
and Entertainment. Bye, Poppy.
Say bye-bye.